Good day, everyone. We are Group 6 and we are reporting General Inferiority Theory, Hutton's Theory. First of all, let's define what is crime. Crime is the result of the impact of the environment upon low-grade human organisms, and that criminals were originally inferior people. Crime exists because there are some inferior people who are responsible for them. Some of the description of inferior people who are potential criminals are sneaky little institutional inferiors, thieves, wiry, hard-beaten, tough, and not notably undersized robbers, tall, thin men, murderers, tall, heavy men, forgers, short, heavy men, rapists. Proposal on how to deal with crimes and criminals. Criminals should be permanently exiled to self-governing reservation, isolated from the society, sterilized to prevent future offspring.
And now, for the second part of our report is related cases to the general inferiority of Hutton's theory by Plessy versus Ferguson. Plessy, the petitioner, was citizen of the United States and resident of the state of Louisiana and of mixed descent, 7/8 Caucasians and 1/8 African blood. On June 7, 1892, he engaged and paid for a first-class passage on the East Louisiana Railway from New Orleans to Covington in the same state, and thereupon entered a passenger train and took possession of a vacant seat in the coach where passengers of the white races, or the white race rather, were accommodated. Homer Plessy, who was 7/8 white and 1/8 African American, purchased a rail ticket for travel with Louisiana and took a seat in a car reserved for white passengers only. Plessy was required by the conductor, under the penalty of ejection from said train and imprisonment, to vacate said coach and occupy another seat in a coach assigned by said company, for persons not of the white race and for no other reason that Plessy was of colored race. After he refused to move a car for African Americans or for the colored ones, or rather a car or a train or coach, he refused to move to the colored ones, and he was arrested and charged with violating the Separate Car Act because he refused to move to the other coach required for the colored be assigned for him. And then the petitioner argued that the statute was unconstitutional because it was in conflict with both the 13th Amendment of the Constitution abolishing slavery and the 14th Amendment, which prohibits certain restrictive legislation on the part of the states. At Plessy's trial in U.S. District Court, Judge John H. Ferguson dismissed his contention that the act was unconstitutional. So, how this case of Plessy versus Ferguson is related to Hutton's general inferiority theory? It is somehow related because Hutton's theory of general inferiority focused on the underlying cause of criminal behavior is to be found in physical characteristics or physical inferiority. The case of Plessy might not closely related, but there are some points that inferiority about the appearance is found. It is related because Plessy was not a full or pure American, or it was called the white ones. So he was arrested because he sat in the train or coach where only white one is accommodated or allowed. Therefore, there is a discrimination between the colored people and the white ones. So he was immediately arrested with a crime that Plessy did, just sitting inside the train for the white passengers, or his crime was violating the Separate Car Act on that time, on that era.
General inferiority theory by Ernest Hutton, a Harvard anthropologist. He argued that criminals are inferior to a civilian in nearly all their bodily measurements. The person has characteristics of low foreheads, narrow jaw, small ears, long necks, and stooped shoulders are indicating inferiority. The persons who have those characteristics are prone to commit criminal activity. Plessy B. Ferguson. Plessy is the person with the black skin color. Plessy B. Ferguson cases are example of general inferiority. Plessy rode in Louisiana Railways, and conductor asked him to move to a different coach, but he refused and said that is his U.S. citizen and 7'8" white. But conductor threw him off that train and went to jail because under the Louisiana law, Plessy considered black. Louisiana Railway state law that required to have equal separate coaches for white and black passenger. Judge Howard Ferguson ruled that the Louisiana law was constitutional because the state had the right to regulate railroad companies that only ran in the state. The Louisiana law recognized the fact that two races preferred to remain segregated.